Rock stars, Eric Andres, your Guitar Sage here today for another live installment for you guys. We're going to be covering some really cool stuff today. We're going to start off with the giveaways today. What? That's a little bit different. That's right, changing it up. Let's change it up. We're going to talk about those giveaways, and then today what we're going to be talking about today is, by the way, a part 2 of this, building your chord vocabulary with minimal effort. This can be done. You can do it a real hard way. You can do it an easy way. So I'm going to show you some tricks and some things that you can do that you can immediately triple, quadruple your chord vocabulary very, very easily. Okay? So without further ado, let's get into the winners. And so just to cover this really quick, and I'm going to have, if you can pause for 1 second, I've got my computer on in the other room and I can hear myself talking. That's real fun. Hold on. All right. Yeah. So we're going to give away some stuff today. All right, here we go. Give some stuff away. And yeah, so these are folks that had entered into the contest, the 300K guitar giveaway, right? Remember, this was a video that I put up here just a few days ago, and in order to win, you had to comment, you had to like, and you had to subscribe. That was all you had to do, and then I was going to pick 4 winners from there. We've picked those 4 winners. It's a random pick. We've got a software program that does this. So let's go over those winners right now, and here's how it's going to work. We are going to get in touch with you. That's how we always do it, okay? Drum roll. That's right, drum roll. Here we go. You ready? This is for the first Skype lesson, okay? So basically what we're doing here is we've got 3 Skype lessons, 3 one-hour Skype lessons. So each person will win a 1-hour Skype lesson right here. Okay, and this is really, really difficult for me to read because I'm looking at my iPad here. But I might wait till it comes up on the big screen here. No, that'll take too long. Well, you see the winner right there. I can't even, okay, here it is. It just popped up. It's a little bit late. I can't even pronounce that. But you see, if you're a winner, we're going to get in touch with you. This is for a 1-hour Skype lesson, okay? I'll probably be able to read the others just because I think that says Eval Libiton. Okay, that's for a Skype lesson. Here's for Skype lesson number 2. This is Sergio, and I believe it's Sergio Ray. Congratulations, Sergio. Congratulations, Eel. Okay, we're going to get in touch with you, and then we're going to have, each one of us, each of these 3 winners, you're going to have a free live one-on-one Skype broadcast with me. So whatever you want to learn, I'm going to teach it to you, okay? Song, whatever, don't matter. Kelly Betts. Kelly, congratulations. Kelly, actually, I've been watching Kelly for quite some time play guitar for the last few years now, so pretty awesome. And he's been growing as a player and fantastic. So I love that I'm actually going to be able to talk with him because I talk with him a lot on Facebook. And but this I'll be able to talk with him face to face. So congratulations, Kelly. Get those questions ready, and we'll do that live broadcast whenever it's convenient for you guys. It doesn't matter whenever. Just let me know. And you ready? Here we go for the winner of this guitar right here, the Les Paul, the Epiphone Les Paul Power Pack. So it comes with an amplifier, it comes with some other fun stuff. Okay. Here we go. You ready for the winner? Here we go. LL Mavericks. So that's LL Mavericks on YouTube. And I literally just checked him out. He has some like workout videos and stuff like that. So pretty cool. Love it. So there you go, my friends. Those are the winners. And let's get into our lesson. So congratulations for all that entered. For those that did not win, there's winners and there's non-winners. and I do a lot of giveaways. Okay, so stick around. The chances are you're going to win something from me because I do a lot of giveaways, okay? All right, my friends, let's get into it. And then I'm going to be taking questions from you on YouTube, okay? But I won't yet because I'm going to cover this lesson. It's very distracting for me to do that before I teach the lesson, okay? All right, so this is part 2 of a 2-part series. The part 1's on my Facebook page, so if you want to check that out, then do so. It would be really good because I cover the basics that you need to know before going into this, okay? And I'll probably cover them a little bit today, but I'm even going to glaze over them even more because I can't keep covering them if you're missing videos. Does that make sense? Otherwise, it would take forever, right? It would be a month-long broadcast every single time if I'm teaching the basics, right? So make sure you check out part 1 that's on my Facebook page, okay? And without further ado, here we go. Does it say how many people are in here? Oh, 138 watching. Pretty cool. Yay. All right. We got 138 kids in the room. Love it. So last week, I talked about embellishing chords. So what do we mean by this? Embellishing chords is just like when you play a chord, like a G major, and you make it a G13, that's embellishing the chord. Really, embellishing the chord is doing any sort of note changing. So if we go from a major, from say a G major, actually that was so here's a G major to a G minor, that would be embellishing the chord because we're changing a note. And so the idea here is that if you understand some basic rules for like what note would need to change in order to create a whole new chord, that could be any note, but to know specifically what chord it is, the new chord that you're playing, is very, very helpful. So last week we talked about altering the 3, the 6, and the 7. And just doing that alone, watch this, I taught hundreds of chords, added hundreds of chords to folks' chord vocabulary because we took regular major chords. So let's just say we knew one major chord, okay? Watch how powerful this is. With that one major chord and then understanding how to alter those 3 different notes, the 3, 6, and 7, we were able to create minor chords, major 7 chords, dominant 7th chords, minor 7th chords, minor major 7th chords, 6th chords, minor 6th chords, 13th chords, minor 13th chords, and I might even think we might have talked about others, but let's just take that. Let's 9 chords, okay? If you learn them in all the keys, which is basically just moving it up and down the fretboard, you have 108 chords. Now, learn the caged system, and you've just quintupled that. Quintupled? Is that right? Septupled? What's 5? Whatever. Let me know. 5 times the 108. So now we got 540 chords from one chord. Okay? Now, whenever I'm teaching lessons like this, people are like, God, that's really, really hard. You try memorizing 500 chords. What I'm showing you is way easier than memorizing 500 chords, okay? So is it hard? Well, of course, it's not like spitting on the ground. You're gonna have to do a little digging. You're gonna have to do a little work yourself, for sure, okay? If that turns you off the way that I'm talking, you're probably not cut out for work of any sort or guitar or anything. You gotta bust your ass and you gotta practice. If you don't wanna do that, play video games, okay? Play the radio. But if you want to get good at guitar, you have to dig in, okay? Sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but you got to do it. Okay, so that's what we did. We learned all these chords. So today what we're going to be doing is we're going to be altering the 2, the 4, and the 5 to create 9th chords, add 9 chords, 11th chords. What else in there? That's it. That's all we're going to be talking about. Oh, we're going to be talking about diminished as well. Okay, so first off, the only thing that we're doing is we're using the major scale by the same letter name. So for instance, if we're altering a G chord, then we have to use a G major scale to find these notes that I'm going to be talking about, okay? If you're altering an A major chord, you need to be using the A major scale, okay? If you're altering an A minor chord, you need to use the A major scale. Basically, you're always using the major scale, and you're always using the same letter name or the same root as the chord that you're looking for. So if you're looking to embellish a G chord, then you'd use G major. If you're looking to embellish an F chord, you would use F major. Always, every single time, don't try to confuse it. Just do the major scale of the same letter name. Okay? Get it? Good, here we go. And you got to know the major scale, of course. You can get this by watching any of my major scale videos on YouTube or the free course, YourGuitarSage.com/30. The link for that's below. If you're not in that already and you're asking questions about guitar, you're spinning your wheels. you need to get that free course. It's below, YourGuitarSage.com/30. Hit it right now. It'll open up in another tab, or maybe you have to hold the button down to open up in another tab. And then watch it after this broadcast, because, well, you're not going to just be able to watch it. It's 30 lessons, okay? But I teach all this stuff, much of this stuff in there, okay? Got to have the basics. So we're using the major scale, G major in this case here. And so if we take G major here and I play it like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, right? That's the scale that we're using, okay? Or you could do it linearly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. You could do that too. Either one is fine. But we're using these notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to find the 5, 6 to find the 6, 7 to find the 7, etc. 1, 2, there's our 2, our 3, and our 4. It's easy, that easy, literally. So when someone says, hey, can you make that an 11 chord? And you go, well, sure I can. What, it's a G chord? You want 11? Oh, sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Then you know that that note needs to go into the chord. Okay, now we still need to know chord formulas to some degree, but on some of these easier ones, it's not so much, okay? You don't need a whole lot of like music theory or even chord construction, okay? But we gotta have some. We gotta know a little bit of this. So a major chord is constructed of the 1, the 3, and the 5 scale notes from the major scale. Now there's some people going, oh, I'm turning this off already. That's crazy. That's crazy. He's talking crazy theory. Am I? I'm counting to 8. Can you count to 8? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Can you do it? Then you're in. Then you've got this, okay? The 1, the 3, and the 5 out of the major scale. Watch this. This is hard. Hang on. 1, 2, 1, 2. It apparently is. I got to do it a few times over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's all the theory you need to know is the major scale. And if you count the 1, the 3, and the 5, you play those notes together, you get the major scale. 1, skip over the 2 and play the 3. Skip over the 4 and play the 5. So we got 1, 3, 5. And if we play those 3 notes together, those are the first 3 notes of our G major chord. All the other notes are 1s and 3s and 5s too. That's why it makes a G major chord. So we can do this with any chord. Play the 1, 3, and 5 out of the scale, and all of a sudden you got a major scale. Get it? Same thing with the minor chord. A minor chord is a 1 flatted 3, 5. So you just take that 3, 1, skip over the 2 and go to the 3. So you flatten that 3, just a half step, and then you still have that 5, which is the open D. So we got, ooh, sad, right? That's a G minor triad. Okay. Now that we have that, we can embellish all these other notes. So let's talk about, let's do the 4 first, okay? So the 4 is a very commonly used note to add to chords. It's where we get 11th chords from. Any version of the 11th chord, it's really the 4. When you're talking about music, you can always, if it's a double-digit number, or I should say if it's 9 and above, so when you have 9s, 11s, and 13s, if you want to find a quick way to find that note, you can either play through the scale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Like those are those color notes that we're talking about in jazz, right? Or you can just take 7 off of whatever number it is and find it really quickly. So for instance, a 9 minus 7 is a 2. So that would be an A. Adding an A to a G chord would give you a 9. So here we are. That's just what we call a 7th chord. And if I take my pinky and put it up here to this A, now all of a sudden we have a 9, okay? So we can do that as well. But let's go back to, let's talk about the 4s. So let's say we see something and it says a suspension. A suspension, not sustained. I see this commonly on YouTube, and it's absolutely incorrect. There is no sustained chord. You can sustain a note, go out, have a bite, come back, still be going. But it's called sustained. We're not talking about, that's different than a suspended chord. A suspended chord is when we have a note in there that is suspended, meaning it sounds like it's up in the air and then it wants to rest. So for instance, if you have a D chord, if you do this, we've got this note right here, which is, if you count through the scale, it's the 11th note. We could also call it the 4, because 11 minus 7 is 4. And that would be just taking the third and going up a half step creates suspension chords. So for every major chord that you know, if you know where the third is at and you go up a half step with just that one note, the third, okay? A lot of times in like your chords, it's the one note that changes when you go from major to minor. For instance, here's E major with the first finger down. Here's E minor with the first finger off. And so that would be our third. So if I raise that up a half step, I've got a suspended. There's an E suspended. If I took an A major chord or an A minor, look, that's the note that's changing back and forth. So if I take that note and I go up a half step, now I've got an A suspended chord. Make sense? So that's where our 4 comes in. That's why sometimes you'll see a suspension written as a sus4, is because you could technically have a sus3, but then we start getting into kind of naming things, can be named a couple different ways. So usually a suspension means a 4, okay? Think about music as like an onion. It's got many layers. You peel them, you peel them. If you just go straight to the center of that onion, well, God, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if anything bad would happen. But when you're talking about peeling an onion, you know, there's layers, right? So don't be concerned with the center of, oh, I got to know everything right away. It's not, don't like hold on to that. It's like a badge of honor or something, or you're so smart that you just have to learn it all right away. That's bullcrap. You don't do, that's not how you learn anything. You learn stuff from a 30,000 foot view, and then you go down and you start drilling down, because if you don't have the big picture, you're not going to understand the really hardcore stuff. So don't make it hard for yourself. Make it easy. You can still make guitar hard if you want. Just play more, play faster, you know. So let's so the 4 gives us 2 different things. It gives us the suspension, and it also gives us 11th chords. Usually when we're talking about harmony, you know, notice that with the major chord we have a 1, we skip over the 2, we have a 3, and we skip over the 4, and we have a 5. So we have a 1, 3, how can I do that? Like that, right? 1, 3, 5. So we skipped over these notes, and that is true as far as when we construct chords. Harmony sounds best when you don't have 2 notes close to each other. So we've got so let's take the first 10 notes. We have the 1. We're going to skip over the 2. We got the 3. We'll leave that guy. We're going to skip over the 4. We're going to leave the 5. We're going to skip over the 6. We'll leave the 7. Skip over the 8, which is the octave, and we'll have the 9, and we'll skip over the 10. So that's what we have. It's basically like every other note. 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13. That's how, when we're talking about embellishing chords, a lot of times, all the time, that's what we're talking about. There are some other notes that we could embellish, yes, of course, but really we're covering the bulk of jazz harmony when we're talking about harmonization like 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13. Okay. That being said, usually when you have, say, like a 7 chord, you're going to have the previous harmonies that come along with it, the 1, the 3, and the 5, and then you're going to embellish the 7. Okay. If you have a 9 chord, usually, technically, you're going to have the 1, the 3, the 5, and the 7. And then you'll throw in that 9, some version of the 9. If you have an 11 chord, same thing. 1, 3, 5, 7, 9 will be before it, and then the 11th. Okay? Now, 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11. Well, 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13. So we got 7 notes on a 6-string guitar. Well, that's impossible, right? It is impossible. That's why we start sacrificing notes. Means we start doing away with notes that are less important. Okay, jazz players are really well known to do this because if you got a 6-string guitar and you're supposed to, and the rule says you got to have 7-note chord, you can't play 7 notes, right? So you got to start leaving some stuff behind. The first ones to leave behind are the 1 and the 5 because the bass player's playing the 1 and the 5 is pretty stable. Okay, it's the same for 6 out of the 7 diatonic chords. I know some of this is going over your heads, but stick with me, okay? Because if you glean anything from this, you're going to be gleaning stuff that you can use over and over again, not just me showing you 5 chords, okay? So, here we are. Let's say we see something says we need a G11 chord. Okay, well, remember, preferably we want to have the 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9 in there. So let's do this. A G major chord is a 1, 3, and a 5. Okay. If we have a dominant 7th, or just known as a 7th chord, I talked about that at the last lesson, so I'm not going to go into that now. But this is our 7th chord. Okay, so now we got our 7th in there. We should have a 9 in there, right? So here's the 9. It's the A that's way up there. And technically, if I want to throw an 11 in there, then it's going to be the 4. Okay? So basically, if we 4 or 11 doesn't matter. So technically, I could come up here and play an 11 because here's the 9, so it has to be higher. But we're going to be playing it. Remember, if we take a third, the third of the chord, we go up a half step. That's when we get that. That's when we get that 11 chord. So here we go, and it's right here. That's the note. So if I wanted to, that would be, if I wanted to play that chord, that would be a 13 chord, and it's got everything in it. The 1, is that right? Does it have everything? No. We sacrificed something. We sacrificed the 3. We didn't need the 3. But I could have sacrificed the 5. I could have sacrificed the 1. A lot of stuff. Okay. So when you're playing an 11, just go up the scale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and add that to, like, say, a 9 chord or a 13 chord, that sort of thing. But we hadn't gotten to 9 chords. Let's talk about 9 chords. 9 chords are really, it's a 2. Okay? It's just a 2. Here's the 1. Add this note. Because it's a 2, and 9 minus 2 is 7, or 9 minus 7 is 2. Remember I said you could take any of those higher numbers, subtract 7 from it, and that will get you your number very quickly, what you're looking for. So that's the note we want to add. It's an A. And typically the construction of a 9 chord has all those harmonies before it, 1, 3, 5, 7. Okay? Now, here we are. We're going to play. We're going to find this 9 chord. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I could throw that note in there from the G chord. And if I wanted to, let's say I'm going to play a G7 chord. So if I add this note here, that's a 9. So now I've got a G9 chord. Okay. Or I could, like I say, play my 7th chord. And to find my 9, I just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's an A. Or I could take 9 minus 7, which is 2. And I could just go 1, 2. That's the note I need to add. That's an A. I'm going to choose wherever I want to add it. I'm going to add the A up here. That A right there, right? So now here's my 7th chord. And here's my 9 chord. Okay? Now, understand this for a moment. Even if this is a little bit harder in the beginning for you to understand, like if I just show you that people, a lot of folks are like, I don't want to know all that, just show me the damn chord. Okay, I'll show you the chord, and then you're going to be coming back to me, just like a druggie, you know, I need more chords, I need more. No, learn how to do this, my friend. Learn how to do this. You will become all-powerful, okay? Like that genie in Aladdin. Not the mean one, Genie, the good one, the blue one. Okay, so you need to understand how to do this, and if I can get you to understand one of these concepts, it's busting this open for you. Okay, because not only will this allow you to create 9 chords on the fly, so anywhere you have a 7th chord or any place you have a major chord, you can create a 9 chord or an add 9 chord. Now you can do that instead of having to be shown, oh, what is it in this key and what is it in this form and this, that, and the other thing, okay? So just stick with me, okay? Now, if you don't get some of this stuff, I'm seeing some comments coming up where it's going over folks' head. That's okay, okay? It's okay because everybody's starting at a different place. If you'd have started me off on this stuff in the beginning, I'd have been like, I just want to play some Iron Maiden. I just want to play some Crazy Train. You know, that's how I was. But over time, I learned some of this stuff. Now, the way that I teach in my program, in the free program, the link for that's below, all the discounts that we're doing today. By the way, those discounts can be found in, I didn't even mention those. Let's do that really quickly. I've got discounts. Discount codes right now. We are blowing some stuff out. The Complete Guitar System, which is the #1 guitar instruction program on Udemy, which is a huge platform. It's like YouTube, but it's paid stuff. It's like really like creme de la creme stuff. Anyhow, we got the #1 program on there with 74,000 people in it from 150 different countries, so it's a fairly popular program. But we're doing 66% off of that today. Instead of $149, or instead of $145, it's $49 today. What? That's right. The link for that's below, so check that out. And then also the Unstoppable Guitar System, if you want to get into the Mac Daddy that I keep putting new videos into, and we do these live broadcasts. We did one last night, live, like to only the inside folks, then do that. And normally that's $400. We're doing $150 off that today, so it's $250. Bam, money in your pocket. So, with that being said, these are things that I discovered many years into playing. So some of you, it's going over your head, okay? That's okay. Part of that is because you're not learning in a step-by-step method like me. I didn't grow up with a step-by-step method. I was all over the map. There was no YouTube, and I mean, I'm sure there were courses and Mel Bay books and stuff that I went through, but I'm talking about a course that you can step-by-step not get lost, and I keep bumping it up another notch, and you can stop or keep going to your heart's content. I keep putting more videos in there, okay? So a lot of this stuff, if it's going over your head, it's not you, okay? It's that you hadn't learned some of the basics that you need to learn. My advice to you would be to get in that free course where I'm teaching much of those foundational things so that when you do watch these videos, you're like, I get it. Eric was talking about that, okay? Really important if you're serious about guitar. If you're not serious about guitar, don't worry about it, you know? Just goof off on YouTube. Nothing wrong with doing that. Everybody's in a different place in guitar. Some people just want to goof off, play a couple songs, and not play it for another week. And then there's other people that are more serious about it. No judgment. Everybody's got a different place to be. So just be who you are, do what you want to do, and have fun while you're doing it, okay? All right, so for those that it's over your head, I apologize. I obviously can't teach the basics of every single video because that would take too long and it would bore the folks that have been following me. Okay, so now an add 9, let's go back. The 2 can also create an add 9 chord. What's an add 9 chord? An add 9 chord is when we just take a major chord and you add a 9 to it. That's all you're doing is you're just throwing the 9 in there. You don't have to worry about the 7th. So for instance, you've seen this chord a lot, right? The A add 9. Let's talk about that for a minute. So here's an A add 9. Now why that's not a 9 chord is the 9 chord should have the 7th in it. Okay? And Bert Dirt, I see you on there, buddy. I see my buddy Bert Dirt. So if I play this A here, and I go through the scale, I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that note right there is a B. I could play it open as an open B string. So here's my A major chord. But if instead of this note, I play a 9, that's what we call an add 9 chord. Now, yes, I am sacrificing the 3rd there, but in guitar land, with guitars, that is known as an add 9 chord. So, you know, piano players, they've got 10 fingers, most of them, and so they could play 10 different notes at once. Unlike the guitar, we have to only play 6 notes at a time, right? So we're limited. So there is some sacrificing of notes, okay? Callaway, yes, you're my buddy too. Sorry, every now and then I look at the live stream here and I see a lot of fun comments. You guys are amazing. I love it. John Thomas is saying a sus4. Yeah, a sus4 is that chord I was talking about earlier. Any major chord, just take the 3 and go up a half step, and that's your sus4 chord. Okay. And the 4, adding 7 to it makes it 11. So when you need 11th chords here, that's the same thing. The only thing you're going to do then, the difference is that you'll make it, typically you'll add the 7 and the 9 in there as well. Okay? All right, so let's talk about, we did 2s and 4s. And again, we're glazing over this, all right? There's so much more to know about. I talk about this stuff in a lot of detail. That emoji's making me laugh, Callaway. I talk about a lot of detail in the course, okay, about building these chords. A lot. And I really take my time in doing it. So if you're serious about it and this is not covering it for you, obviously you know where to go. Okay, let's talk about the 5 for a minute. Now, normally I don't do that because you'll see embellished chords that use or you'll see jazz chords, or what we call jazz chords, just chords in general that have a different 5 in it, meaning a sharp 5 or a flatted 5. Now, the reason you don't see that very often is, you know how like when you're playing, you may not know this or not, but something to observe. I didn't notice this till many years later. It's just one of those things that when you're sitting with music and you keep peeling, different things start coming to the surface and you start seeing music in a different way that you hadn't seen before. All right. By the way, winners were just announced there. You can see how quickly I am, how quickly I can type, because you guys didn't even see me do that. But they're the winners right there on the screen right now. So check it out, close to the top. Let's see. Oh, so yes, the 5, right? The 5. We can sharpen it, we can flatten it. But here's one of the things that notice in a major chord we have a 1, 3, and a 5, and in a minor chord we have a 1 flat 3 and a 5. Well, what is special about that 5 for major and minor chords? It's the same, right? So any major and minor chords that you play, the 5's always going to be where it's at. Here it is, watch. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, there it is, every single time. That's why you can play power chords all the time. Make sense? So that's why power chords always look like that. Is because for 6 out of the 7 diatonic chords, diatonic being the major scale, the chords that are derived from the major scale, this is going over your head. Get the frickin' free course and start there. The 5's always in the same place. Okay, so it's rare that we embellish the 5, but we can. Okay, we can have a flatted 5, which in a minor chord would create a diminished chord, and then we can augment a chord as well. So you've seen this before, right? Where that's an augmented chord. And we take that 5 and we raise it up a half step. So an augmented chord is a major chord, but take the 5, bump it up a half step, okay? Easy enough, that's all it is. It doesn't sound very good, so we're not going to probably cover a whole lot there. Diminished chord, you're going to see more, and it's a minor chord with the flat 5, okay? A flat 5. So for instance, let's take this, and let's take an A minor for a minute. Okay, now we're going to only play the middle 4 strings, because this is a 5, and so is this. And we can't flatten this high one, okay? So, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. And so, here's the 1. Here's the 5. So that D string is the 5, so we need to lower it by a half step. So now we have an A diminished. Make sense? Okay, so diminished chords, super easy to play. Take any minor chord, flatten the 5. How do you find the 5? Just go through the scale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There it is, Easy enough. Okay, now that covers some more stuff. Now think about this. If you know the caged system, like I teach in my courses, like I teach here on YouTube, Caged, C-A-G-E-D. You can find it easily by just typing Your Guitar Sage Caged. Then what it does is it shows you how to play chords all over the neck by the same name. For instance, C chord, you could play like this. C, 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 C. These are all C chords, right? And so now that you know, you could take this and you could apply it to each one of these different forms. Caged, there's 5 different forms: the C form, A form, G form, E form, and D form. Times 12 different keys is 60 chords. So if you only know one major chord, okay, and if you know the cage system and one of these embellishments, let's say suspension chords, easiest one, then basically you'll be taking your chord knowledge of one chord and making it 61 chords. Pretty cool, huh? Actually, with that knowledge, you'll be making it, 5 times, 60 chords. There you go. So if that goes over your head, again, you're going to have to dig in. Some of this stuff is just not going to come to you from this one video, right? Do all this. Okay, so I'm going to start getting to some questions here. How's that sound? All right. Do all the C chords sound the same? No, they don't. You can think about it like this. It's like chili. Okay. Does chili all taste the same? Nope. But it's kind of the same, right? But one guy's going to cook it different than somebody else. So C chords sound different. Even major C chords. So here is a C chord. Here's 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 a C chord. So these are going up, right? But you get the idea. They're going to sound similar. They're in the same family, and they have some of the same rules. So 1, 3, and a 5 from the C major scale makes a major chord in any capacity. Just leave those 3 notes. Don't embellish notes or add other stuff. You'll have a C major chord every single time, All right. All right. So yeah, let's get to some questions. It could be questions about this. It could be questions about anything in general. Let's see how many folks we got going on here. Oh, by the way, folks, right now, please, are you getting something from this? If you are, please take a moment. We're actually going to pause here for just a moment. Hit that share button. Would you share it on some sort of social media? The more you guys share, the more, have you noticed that the more my videos are shared, the more stuff, have you noticed me giving away a lot more stuff? If you haven't, you're not paying attention, because I give a lot of stuff away. So please share that button. The more shares I get, the more I'm able to give stuff away, because I get help from sponsors and that sort of thing. Okay? So you want free stuff, hit that share button. If you want to be a good person and get a little karma your way, hit the share button. All right? All right, here we go. How many instruments do you own? Do you know ukulele? Yeah, I actually have a ukulele channel, Callaway. It's not very good because I'm just so consumed with guitar. But I started teaching some ukulele stuff. I wrote a book right there. I wrote a book on the ukulele, and I think we've got like 4 or 5 ukuleles in this house, and probably another 30 guitars, I'd say. I just went over a bunch of guitars. My ones here, my vintage ones. Can I do a backflip? I wish. I see the guys do it at the trampoline park, and I want to do it so bad. Okay. Do you like low, medium, or high action? I like low action, preferably low to medium. Nice. Someone doesn't trust the man. I love that. What's the cost of your Gibson Les Paul? Not that expensive. I think I paid about $2,200 for it. It's worth about $5,000. It's got some very expensive pickups in it that Guitar Center didn't know about because it was a used guitar, and it's just an amazing guitar. Yeah, I saw someone comment the other day saying it was a real 59. It's not. This is a real 65, and my Gretsch is a real 59, and my Telly is a real 67, and this is a real 69, but that is not a real 59. If it were, it'd be $250,000, $300,000 guitar. Yep. Callaway, my mom wants to learn. Good. Well, get her in the free program, YourGuitarSage.com/30. Link for that's below. The karma is back. Nice. All right. Can I use a C add 9 instead of a C? It works so much easier to play when moving. Yeah, in fact, a C add 9 is really nice. It's a very subtle chord, so yeah, you could. But always use your ear, you know what I'm saying? Do I teach mandolin? I don't. I'm not a very good mandolin player. How do I know what kind of chords to play based on genres? Oh, that's a great question. For blues, it's a lot of seventh chords. For jazz, you're talking seventh. You need to know them all: sevenths, ninths, 11s, 13s, all of them. For rock and roll, you just need power chords. For country, you need major and minor chords. Have you ever played Dirty Finger pickups before? If so, did you like them? I have not played them. Weird Loco. Can I have the guitar now? Is it okay to pick up ukulele bass while I'm still learning guitar? Or should I focus on the guitar until I'm proficient? I really want to play around with a uke. No, go ahead and play around with it. Helpful if you understand what it's about. But no, skip it. Doing that is fine. 13th chord skips the 11th. No, you really should have the 11th in there. The lower notes are the ones that you want to take out. It skips the 12. Okay, so just think skipping notes 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13. Help with playing the F chord here on YouTube, effing F chord, EFFING. Do that, and also the free course. Seriously, he answers stupid questions. I'm not going to answer that one, George. You set yourself up for that, pal. This isn't about guitar or instruments. Do I have bird feeders? I know it's a weird question. I don't, but I love birds. I love animals. Favorite guitar for rock is my Les Paul. I love this guitar. And the SG. And the Strat. No, but really these two, the Les Paul and the SG are awesome. Could you quickly go over how to figure which chords to use in a key? I'm going to go over it really quickly. In a major key, it's major, minor, minor, major, major, minor, diminished. If you didn't get that, you can always rewind this later. So if you play through the chords, through the notes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, the 1 chord's a major, 2 chords a minor, 3 chords minor, 4 chords major, 5 chords major, 6 chords minor, 7 chords diminished, and the 1, back to the 1 chord again, you know? What should my setup be for my Ibanez to go from punk to metal in mid-range price? What would you suggest? Eric, my question is, what would be a step up for my Ibanez Geo for punk? You know, I don't know, Dave. I don't know that guitar. So that's a really hard question to answer. Not for for anybody. It would be just more like if someone answered that confidently, they would be doing it out of ego, not because they've got the answer, because that's like asking what's the best fruit. It's like they ain't a best fruit except for strawberries. No, okay. Let's love Green Day. When you see some player stay nearly at the same place in a song, it's because they use the cage. When you see some players stay nearly at the same place in a song, is it because they use the cage system? Bert's saying. So he's saying, basically, well, no, not necessarily, Bert, but they probably have some sort of concept of the cage system in a different way. Like when I came to it organically. I knew all this stuff. Brett Papa's coming back. I don't know. Next time he's in town here, we're gonna get together. I love that guy. I love that guy. Great guy. You should hang out with Papa Sash and Rob when I should, yes. Rob plays on a lot of my wife's session stuff, or at least used to when they did more sessions. It's not as times change and things aren't the same anymore here in Nashville. Okay, so I think I lost my train of thought. What's the stand on the strict rules from? What on this strict rule? What's your stand on those strict rules from teacher? My question is above. I don't know I'm sorry, I don't know what you're talking about there. Play X's and O's real quick. I don't remember that song. I have a tutorial for it though. How to improve changing chords? Any exercise for the same? How to improve changing chords? Change chords. Take any 2 chords that you're having a problem with and change chords. That is the way to get good, you know. Megan says you're hot. So sweet. Thank you, Megan. I needed that today. I appreciate that. Thank you. Okay, Eric, can you look up Takamine blank 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 and tell me if it's any good? I wouldn't be able to tell you. I've never owned it, so I would follow the what folks are saying in reviews. A great place to look is Amazon, but really do your homework, and they better have a really good rating because people are cheating those reviews, and they're probably going to look better than they actually are. But if somebody has 100% with a lot of ratings, it's probably pretty good, Okay, just bought your course. Do you teach how to use the capo? Christy's saying. Most assuredly I do, Christy, because I love the capo, and knowing how to use it is fantastic. Not only when you're using the capo, but then it helps you with the cage system and a bunch of other things. So indeed, I do, okay? How long have I been playing? I've been playing since I was 14, so like 34 years as of tomorrow. Tomorrow's my birthday. Is that right? Yep, tomorrow's my birthday. I'll be 48. Any exercise to help changing chords faster? Yep, change chords slowly. Accuracy comes before speed. 2 chords only that you're having a problem with, just go back and forth. You could be watching TV, you could be doing just about anything. At first, pay attention, but later on, once you have it, you could be watching TV and do this, okay? How are the cats? The cats are doing great. I wish they were in more videos. They were jumping around, jumping on everything, and down here in the studio, it's dangerous because I got a lot of fluorescent lights and mercury and stuff like that, and they broke one time, and I don't want them down here getting sick, or me getting sick for that answer, but I love them. Choopy's great. She's getting fatter. That's our big cat. Would you suggest for left-handed a hander to learn left-handed or right-handed? I'd say learn right-handed. There's a lot more right-handed guitars around. Lefties are always hard to find. And honestly, it's difficult anytime you're playing guitar. Left or right hand, doesn't matter. Any tips on transitioning picking to strumming? Megan, I take the pick and I'll tuck it into my hand like this. So, is that what you said? Hold on. Picking and strumming. Sorry. So picking and strumming. No, really, Megan, it's just a matter of whatever it is that you're working on. Here's the deal. Let's think about this for a second. Anybody who's having a problem going from one thing to the next, and they're like, well, how do I fix that? You go from the one thing to the next many times, because it's the in-between part that you're having a problem with. Duh, right? But it's not so duh, because everybody would get that, okay? So whatever problem you're having, you're going from picking to strumming, practice going from picking to strumming, back and forth, back and forth. If you plan a chord progression, it takes you 30 seconds to get to that change, take the last 3 seconds of that chord change and just do that over and over again. Because if it takes you 30 seconds, you're wasting a bunch of time just playing through the chords when you're really having one problem, and that's going from picking to strumming, or 2 particular chords. Same thing, right? I'm learning Bark at the Moon, verse refrain. All right, but in solos, I can't reach the speed I want. Can you help? George, I can't play that fast either, so welcome to the club, my friend. There's not a lot of people that can. Those licks that he's playing in there are really, really fast. That being said, you could play that fast, but you can't expect to do it with an hour or 2 a day. You better be picking that guitar up for 10 hours a day. If not, you're not going to get that speed. It just doesn't happen. There's nothing I could show you, or any teacher in the history of ever, that could show you how to play that fast without practicing. There are tricks that for sure will help, but they don't boost you up that much. They definitely help. Do you like scarfed necks? I think. Well, does that mean just like scarves? I love scarves. Do you always need a pick guard? No, you don't. This one doesn't have one. You don't need one. All my other guitars do. I don't have one on this one. No, you don't need it. Do you recommend one? Nope. Not necessarily, especially if your guitar doesn't have it. Why do many great artists like RHP, GNR, and so forth choose a different key for a solo than the rest of the song? It's really just to change things up, to create because when you hear a song for 2-3 minutes or whatever, then it's nice to have a key changer for it to go to someplace different. You know what I mean? I love that. So, where did I get the idea for my logo? David's asking. David, honestly, I had some ideas and some pictures and stuff like that, and I got together with a bunch of folks that make logos, and they all submitted their logos, and that was the one that won out. That was the one that I was just like, dude, that's great. You know, it's like, because I used to, well, I still do on YouTube here. I got the top hat picture, right? And then that was kind of that idea. It was the top hat, and then the peg winders, and then the beard, of course. So, yeah, I thought that was fun, right? What are your books' names from the guitar? Where can I get them? Right here. On YouTube or on Google, just search Eric, that's with an H, Andreas, Amazon books. You could do that, and my stuff will come up right away. Bestseller, too. One of these is. This guy's a bestseller. I think that's a better seller now, but this one definitely was in the beginning, you know. Your guitars get scratched sometimes. Mine do too. That's good. Simple one. My pick slides off of my hands when strumming up. What's the right technique? TM, you might want to use a slightly thinner pick instead of a thicker pick. Do that. Watch my picking video in the free series, YourGuitarSage.com/30, because I do go into that, okay? So that's important. Also, just getting used to the pick. So part of it's probably your technique, but sometimes a real thick pick can just be a big pain in the butt, okay? Okay. Oh, man, these questions are going quick. Yeah, they're on Amazon. Correct. Yeah. How do I get a pick out of my guitar? Is there a quick trick? I have two in there now. I've got a video for it on YouTube, but yeah, you get it you kind of do around like this until it gets on the label, and then like if you had a bucket of water and you were flinging it over your head where you wanted the water to stick to the bottom of the pail with centrifugal force, you do that with your guitar. You kind of swing your guitar out with the pick in it and then drop it. I go over that in a video, so check out for that. What about your YourGuitarSage t-shirts with your link on them? Yeah, I've made a few. On occasion, I definitely do that. Oh, could I start selling Skype lessons? I think it would be an amazing thing. Yeah, Caleb, I could. I should. What chords should I learn after learning all the open chords and any specific songs to help practice? Scalar. Watch my videos on YouTube. I have hundreds. I think we're up to 900 and something videos now, and many of them are songs, and I try to teach them as simply as possible. So after your open chords, look into bar chords and the caged system. All stuff that I teach on YouTube. The better stuff's in the programs. Some of that stuff is free in the program. So check all that stuff out. By the way, any coupon codes that you guys are looking for any of the courses are in the description of this video today, all right? How do I know when I have to change the strings on the guitar? Your ear will tell you, or the guitar will go out of tune a whole bunch all of a sudden, and you're like, geez, this is no fun. Or just the strings don't feel good. They feel like they're going to cut you. They drag. They look at them and they're not shiny. But ultimately, you don't have to change strings, right? Okay. How do you play with a pick and then stow it for finger picking? What I do is I will put my pick in my hand like this, like right there by my first finger, and then I can finger pick some. Or sometimes I'll do like that. I'll palm it, you know. Or sometimes I'll pop it in my mouth, you know. Could you do Shred War with Jared Dines? I've never heard of that, my friend. Never heard of it. Does a pickup rust affect the sound? I don't know the answer to that, Aaron. I don't know the answer. I wish I did. Those must be really rusty. You skipped my question twice, dude. What should I do to get your attention? If that's your question, because I saw it, just put a question up, and just keep putting the question up. That's what everybody else is doing. Obviously, there's hundreds, thousands of questions going by here. All right, what else? So add 9 is the same as a sus2. Yep. From all my recollection of it, it is, because a sus2 is, yeah. Yep, it is. I mean, technically an add 9 could have the 3 in it also, but a sus2 you could have a 3 in it. So yeah, it's the same one. It's just you wouldn't have them side by side because it would rub. Those two notes would be like, would sound like that. Digital versus analog pedal, which first? If you're talking about in the series, it doesn't matter as far as digital or analog. It matters like I go over digital. I go over pedal order on YouTube. YourGuitarSage pedal order. Watch that. Okay. digital versus analog. I mean, I like analog pedals, but I like some digital pedals too, you know, for sure. Your favorite song for intermediate players? I couldn't tell you. I've got, it depends, because everybody's different. You know, half the songs I put up that are beginners, people are saying, that's too hard. And then other people are saying, well, that should be for baby beginners. So you can't please anybody on YouTube as far as that. Okay. What do you think about Brad Paisley's playing? Could you give a lesson explaining some of his tricks? Ashley's saying. Ashley, I think Brad's a great player. It's not my style, and to me, it's very... I don't want to say one-dimensional, because the guy could play circles around me, at least in that style of playing. He could, country, and chicken picking specifically. But to me, it's just the same thing every single time. With that being said, could I give a lesson explaining some of his tricks? No, I couldn't, because, I mean, kind of, I do have some videos on hybrid picking, but he's a beast. He is so good that that I couldn't even come close to teaching it the way it properly should be. There are some great teachers on YouTube that are teaching chicken picking in a great way, you know. What are my favorite heavy metal pickups? God, a Jeff Beck, a Seymour Duncan Jeff Beck is probably my favorite. I love that one. What's my favorite riff? Probably Crazy Train. Favorite guitar player of all time is probably Eddie Van Halen, maybe Randy Rhoads. Favorite pickups for punk, it would be the same one for rock, just Jeff Beck, Seymour Duncan Jeff Beck. Boy, these are flying by. Would you get a Chapman guitar? I don't know anything about them. Is that Rob Chapman, the guy, the British guy? I think so. I've heard good things about him, but I don't know. How often do you come on live? For my Unstoppable Guitar System folks, I do it at least once a month, sometimes twice a month. And for these random ones, if you're following my Facebook page, YourGuitarSage.com/live, etc., these places, you're going to find out more about them. But in the last 3 days, I've gone live 3 times. I went today, Monday, Saturday. Is today Saturday? No, today's Tuesday. Tuesday, Monday, Saturday. And then I think I did one earlier in the week too. So we've been doing lots of them, you know. So your thoughts on multi-effects and pedal boards? Jody is asking. Hey, Jody. I would, on YouTube, just type in YourGuitarSage pedal boards, because I have lots to say about them, but obviously so much to say about them. It would take forever to go over that today. But I have a pedal board tour and all sorts of stuff like that, okay? This stool is from IKEA, and it is comfortable. It's like a cradle for my butt. You're so welcome, Steve. Great interaction. I love interacting with students, and I love hearing from folks all over the world and all their different bits and pieces, you know, what they're struggling with and that sort of thing. Is it okay to have fingers near together when playing open chords? 100%. If the chord's being played, don't worry about what your fingers look like. Use your ears. If it sounds right, it's right. Don't second guess yourself, okay? Just don't second guess yourself. Just play. Okay. These things that I teach, they're good. They'll help you get to where you need to go faster. That's what they do. Harsha, okay, started learning guitar a week ago. My teacher is very strict about these. Never look at my right hand. Bullcrap. Right hand's pinky should always be in contact with the guitar body. Bullcrap. Bullcrap, bullcrap, bullcrap. Sorry for your guitar teacher. Even if he's the most amazing guitar player in the world, and I am not, which I know I am not, it doesn't matter. You look at every amazing guitar player, their pinky's not holding on to the guitar body. It's not. It's ridiculous. Never look at your right hand? Why wouldn't you look at your right hand? I mean, you need to find out what it's doing. In time, you won't have to. But that's like putting a kid on a bike and saying, you know, don't worry, or don't look at the tires, or don't look at the ground, or don't look around you. Yeah, you're going to look around you. Forget about that. Whenever I hear of a guitar teacher or any teacher at all that has, well, maybe not any teacher, because there are certain things that, yes, if you're teaching defense, self-defense or something, you can't screw up. But with guitar, when I hear strict guitar and music teachers, when they're talking about stuff that's subjective, that's just an opinion, and they're strict about it, I cannot take anybody like that seriously, because there is so much to be strict about that we have to be strict about. Why are we doing that with the easy stuff? It's ridiculous. I'd find a new teacher, honestly. Sorry. That's not good. It's bad advice. And those are signs of a teacher who's teaching you out of ego, which is bullshit. Bullshit. Don't be teaching. If any teacher has an ego, they need to be out, because they're not going to be a good teacher, because they're not teaching you from their heart and really trying to get their brain and their heart into it. They're just trying to be cool. It's not going to help you. It's going to hurt you. You want to learn jazz, Tom is saying. Tom, jazz is cool. A lot to know about it, but at the same time, you can go about it very organically and take your time and have a great time doing it. You can play jazz in a week. Honestly, you can get introduced to it. It's just like anything else. People talk so lofty about jazz that it's absolutely so hard. Yes, you can get into the depths of jazz and it can make it very difficult, but you can do that with any genre. You can do that with blues. You can do that with any genre. So jazz just seems to be that thing because it sounds odd to people, you know? Is just using fingers as opposed to a pick a big disadvantage in your opinion? Nope, not necessarily, Tim. Again, this is like I would highly implore my students to always use a pick in addition to finger picking, because you want that diversity of being able to do so. And most people don't use a pick because they don't want to develop they don't want to take the time to develop the technique. That's not a good reason. Now, if you're like, well, Lindsey Buckingham was that way. Lindsey Buckingham from Fleetwood Mac. He's an insane guitar player, okay? But he doesn't use a pick, and you probably wouldn't know about it, but he was able to do it. But he's an icon. He's one of those guys that kept going and was able to just make it happen, you know, but he was stubborn, didn't want to use a pick. What do you think about other tuning? Should everyone learn all the notes in standard tuning before going to drop C or anything or any other tunings? You know, when you drop a guitar down completely in tune, it's all the same pattern, so it doesn't matter. If you tune the guitar down a half step or a whole step or 3 whole steps, it's still, all the shapes are there, right? It's just that now this is not a G anymore. Now it's something different. But everything changes relatively. So yeah, learn it in a standard tuning for sure. Guitar teaching can be frustrating at times because there's so many different opinions and a lot of them are wrong. And so, you know, it can be frustrating, but it can be fun too. Just using your fingers as opposed to pick just big disadvantage. We just went over that. Okay, Lindsey is a beast. He definitely is. Yeah. Yep, fingernails. I mean, I use my fingernails a lot. Playing classical, that's all I use. Obviously, when we want to do that. What's the difference between P90s and normal single coil pickups? Great question, Aaron. So the P90s are wound a little hotter. That's the difference. They are a single coil pickup, but obviously they take up that big fat space, right? They take up a humbucker space, but they're wound hotter. So there's more winds around them, which is why they're great for rock and roll, and they sound so cool, you know. Also, them being set in a Les Paul guitar as opposed to a Strat guitar, which just the guitars themselves create different sounds because of the wood and the scale length and that sort of thing. I cover that in the Unstoppable Guitar System. Okay. Man, these are flying by, my friends. I've been trying to help my 6-year-old daughter start learning the guitar. She struggles with a fretting hand. Any tips on how I can help her get it? Danny, yes. Video dexterity exercise number 1 in the free course. Now, friends, if you haven't watched this course and you're watching this video right now, turn this stupid video off that you're watching right now and go watch that free series. I'm telling you, that's 1,000 times more powerful than what we're talking about today. It's good. This is good stuff we're talking about, but that free course, YourGuitarSage.com/30, is knock it out of the park good, and it's free, and it's about about almost $1,000 worth of lessons. If you were to see me one-on-one, I teach you it the same way. It's for you for free, and it's in the description of this video. Have her start on exercise 1, my friend. That's what you want to do, okay? And don't let her move on until she gets that. Eric, what's your favorite good rock out song that you love to play? Oh, there's so many, but maybe Everlong by Foo Fighters. What's the best guitar learning approach? You didn't ask that, did you? Me! Look, I've taken lessons from guitar teachers, read bazillion books, and I've taught all this stuff for years. And so, obviously, every guitar teacher or every instructor the way they teach, they think that's the best way. But I mean, there's a reason for that, right? I've taken everything that I've been told, and I've taken all the stuff that you don't need away, or I've put it later on where you might use it. And everything that you use, that you're going to use in the beginning, that you're going to use for the rest of your life, I put in the beginning. I don't know why. Teachers, sometimes they teach it sporadically. So you're learning jazz chords, and over here, you're learning how to play it by ear. You're learning the notes of the guitar. And I'm like, that makes no sense. You got to learn step by step. So I think my program, obviously, is the best. Otherwise, I'd be talking about somebody else's program. But I get what you're saying. And those courses are massively discounted today, my friends. The links for those are in the description of the video. Eric, what's your favorite feel-good? We said that. Any tips on making good guitar solos? Yes, Weird Loco. So know what key you're in. Know what scale is going to be appropriate for that. You know, if it's major, then either the major scale or the major pentatonic. If it's minor, either minor pentatonic or the minor scale. And know what the chords are doing. If you can follow the chords around a little bit, and as the chords are being played, try to pull a note or two, like exploit a couple notes out of that chord, that's very helpful, and it'll really make it sound like you know what you're talking about. If not, you're playing through the scale, and it'll still sound like you know what you're talking about, but not as much as if you're keeping up with the chords. I cover that in both my courses, minimalistic blues playing and some other bits. It's blues, but it teaches you how to come up with this concept, okay? Have I ever tried a trainer amp? Yes, I have. I've tried trainer amps. I remember back in the day in the 80s, I believe, and they were pretty awesome, you know. Good night. These questions are going by so fast. I can't even keep up with them. Okay. Whoa. Now I've screwed something else up. Okay, so let's get to more of these questions here. I'm sorry. They're moving fast. If I missed your question, post it again. Don't spam it, though. Just post it again. If you see me miss it, then do it. Then just put it up there again. Do you have any special source that you get the songs, chords, tabs from? I do, yeah. And I don't, like for me, I do everything by ear. 99% of stuff I do by ear, because when I go to look at tabs and chords, they're by folks who may or may not be playing as long as me, maybe not have the same experience. And so I'm going to trust my ear before, okay? Not saying that I'm better than everybody, but obviously different people are in different places. But ultimate/guitar.com is a great place to at least find the resources. But then you got to drill down, go on the star rating, go on what people are saying about that particular bit, okay? How can we mix major and minor pentatonics? You don't really. You're either in major or minor. Yes, if you're in C major pentatonic, and then technically you're in A minor pentatonic as well, but it's the same notes, so don't think about it that way. You're either in major or minor, that's it. How many times and hours a week is a good amount of training? No good answer for that. The more the better. If you want to be mediocre on the guitar, then only practice a little bit. If you want to be really good, then practice a shit ton. And if you want to suck, if you want to be like in the but like suck to semi-suck range, then don't practice much. That's really, I know that sounds ridiculous, but that is absolutely true. I mean, there's nothing, you can't say any different than that, you know. Have I ever picked up a guitar playing a girl? Eric, have you ever picked up a guitar playing a girl? Have I ever picked up a girl playing guitar? Probably, and I probably don't know about it. You know, I've met lots of ladies when I was playing music and that sort of thing. So, but I didn't purposely try to do that. It was just, that's what I love to do, you know. And yeah, girls like guitar players, I guess. That's what I hear, shit ton. Yep. Okay, is 15 minutes enough? 15 minutes every hour if you wanna get good. So what's that? 24 times 15. 15 minutes is not enough time to play guitar. It's not gonna get you anywhere. Barely. Sometimes when trying to jam, what's everybody afraid of? You afraid of your finger's gonna fall off? Play the freaking guitar! Play it for hours. Get into it. Otherwise, it may not be for you. I mean, like, have fun with it. Don't 15 minutes. Like, Finnegan, get in there, brother. All right? I like your avatar. I like that cat, by the way. Favorite John Mayer song? Slow Dancing in a Burning Room, brother. Woo! That one's dripping with goodness. The most important part of music, your perspective. The most important part of music is the passion to pick the instrument up. Number one. If you don't have that passion, what are you going to do? You're going to just be mediocre, right? And so passion is really important. Then I'd say learning songs by ear, super important, that sort of thing. No, of course not. No one strives for sucking, but if you don't strive for something, you're gonna not do anything. You got to have a goal. So and as opposed to beating yourself up all the time, if you just want to play around the campfire a couple songs, then do that. Then do that. But don't beat yourself up for not practicing if you're okay with that. You play guitar and vegan, right? Yes. What's not to like? Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Yeah, I've been vegan for about 4 or 5 years. Absolutely has changed my life on so many levels, it's not even funny. You'll have to come get a beer with me or a coffee or something for us to discuss that one. But absolutely has changed my life, health-wise, mentally, spiritually. I can't even tell you. That's my endorsement for that. It's really changed my life. Okay, so what else? 15 minutes is only good for keeping calluses. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, it's not a lot. You got to practice. If you really want to become really good, practice as much as possible, but know what you're practicing. Yeah, I want to learn it and play well, but I do it off of YouTube, and I feel like I'm going to end up wasting my time, but I keep trying. Look, there's some great players on great teachers on YouTube. Stick to these. I mean, there are other great players, but other great teachers. There's Justin Guitar. There's Marty Music. There's Brett Papa. All these guys are great. Nail Guitar. I'm sure there's others, but there's some great players on there that are legit. They're not going to. None of those guys are going to steer you wrong. Okay. None of those guys will steer you wrong. I know them. They're good. 6 to 7 hours of practice of guitar a day sounds all right to become awesome. Yeah, for sure. You could probably get really good in a year or two, depending on what you're practicing. When I just started playing, I was practicing 8, 10, 12 hours a day, but I was practicing scale, speed, scale, speed, scale. Stupid. It was okay, but I really should have been practicing more songs. I practiced a lot of songs, but practice your songs. No one wants to see you get up on stage and shred a solo. Shred a scale. I don't care. No one cares about that, Coated strings, yeah, you could use them. They fray after some time, but they definitely last longer, I use D'Addario a lot for my acoustics. I use vibe strings, I love them. I hung out with Marty at the Iridium here in NYC. Yeah, Marty's a good guy. Next time he's here in Nashville, we're going to hang out again. How do I get private lessons from you? I live in the Nashville area. Magic. Albert, private lessons from me are expensive, only because I'm so busy with lessons. So if you're okay with $100 an hour, that's what I charge for Skype lessons or for one-on-one lessons here at the house. So I know that's expensive. That's why I'll throw it out there for folks that really want to do it. But Ashley, I'm based in Nashville. But if you want to do it, you can always message me privately on any one of my platforms. Not on YouTube. I get so many messages there every day. Probably do it on YouTube. Private message me on YouTube. I can get in touch with you there. Okay. What kind of strings do you have? Have you ever used Ernie Ball Cobalts? I haven't. I have not. Thank you. Happy early birthday. Appreciate that, Stephen. So Greg is saying online instructors are great, but for me, there's no substitute in being in the room with an instructor who can correct my mistakes. Greg, I agree with you. If it's a good instructor, and I have a video that's going to be coming out very soon that's going to be talking about online lessons or one-on-one instructors. And it goes like this. In a nutshell, if you have the money for a great one-on-one instructor, great is not just some guy who can shred. They've got to be a good teacher, meaning they have to have a great reputation. You have to be feeling all the feels from them. You're like, this guy's great. This guy's teaching me great. He's not belittling me. He's not putting me in a box. He's not strict over things that don't need to be strict, like the person earlier. And you have the money for it. Then a one-on-one instructor is fantastic. Price-wise, online always beats it. And it's like you get so much. And right now I'm doing the $250 for a lifetime membership to the Unstoppable Guitar System. That means unlimited live lessons from me. I think we got 500 lessons in the course right now, and I add a new hour every single month, as well as do the live broadcast. And I have like over 500 jam tracks that I've created with real instruments. So that's $250. If you saw me here in Nashville, that'd be 2.5 lessons. See what I'm saying? So there's a lot more, and I would always suggest doing that. If someone said to me, should I take 2.5 hour lessons from you, or that course, or 4 hours? If you were spending 4 hours for the $400 course, that would be 4 1-hour lessons with me. I'd say by all means get the course. I mean, I'll meet with you, but okay. Caleb, yeah, scales are okay, man, but you got to learn songs. No one cares about scales. They don't. Feels good though. I mean, it's cathartic, What's the difference between Udemy and the full guitar course? Eric, Guitar Man's asking. Open up another tab, and I have a video for this. Just type in Unstoppable Udemy. Udemy, Unstoppable Udemy, and maybe YourGuitarSage if it doesn't come up with that. But I go over the bits and pieces. Basically, the Unstoppable Guitar System has live broadcasts, has monthly updates to the videos, and daily interaction with me, jam tracks, all that stuff. Whereas Udemy, we typically update that once a year. It's still an amazing course, but that's why it's a lot more affordable too. It's $50 as opposed to today $250 for the Unstoppable. It doesn't have the live broadcast and that sort of thing. Okay, so those are the basic differences. Love your channel. Thank you so much. What's the cost of the Udemy course? Normally it's $145. Today it's $49. The description of the video has the link to get that for you. That is the only way to do it. If you go through Udemy, it doesn't work. You're not going to get that. You've got to go directly through that link. Would you recommend Guitar Center teachers for lessons? I don't know. I love Guitar Center, but it depends on the town. It depends on the teacher, etc. You got to find out who's the great guitar instructor in your town. Okay. Are there any right hand exercises I can practice for rhythm? Yes. Practice the rhythm exercises, the strumming rhythm exercises that are in, I don't know, video 7 or something like that in the free series, YourGuitarSage.com/30. I've got 5 times 4 is like maybe 20 to 30 lessons 20 to 30 exercises for you. Get that. It's free. There's a PDF with it and a whole 9 yards. YourGuitarSage.com/30. In a typical practice session, how would you split it between scales and playing songs? Play a few scales. I mean, if you know your scales, you know your scales. Move on to songs. I would say 99% of the time play songs, and then play scales 1% of the time. Okay. I do need a tissue, Bert. Thank you. No, I'm itching. Just bought my first acoustic guitar. I'm a beginner. What should I practice to get better? Theodore, YourGuitarSage.com/30. Link is below. Start there. Video 1. It's in order. The first 30 lessons that anybody on guitar, I don't care what you're doing, should be taking. I don't care if you're John Mayer. The first time you're playing guitar, you should be watching those, okay? Do you sing? Do I teach vocals or plan on it someday? I will not teach vocals. Do I sing? Yeah, I do. But I don't do it very often. When are the song lessons coming back? Oh, I've got song lessons. It just seems right now folks are really loving all this theory stuff. But I will do some song lessons again. Every now and then I'll throw one in there. What's my all-time favorite punk song? Oh, man. I've got a few. I've got so many. A lot of the punk that I listen to is obscure stuff like Scattered Few, One Bad Pig, and some other groups like that. But the Ramones, the Clash. Let's say it's something. It's got to be something from the Clash, and it's probably like Spanish Bombs. I've taught that song. I love them. Love the Clash. What's my favorite song to jam or improvise to? Anything blues. I love me some blues. Have you ever seen any type of apps for learning guitar for beginners? I'm wondering if Musician is decent. I've heard mixed reviews about Musician. I'd say if there is anything that's probably fun, it's probably Rocksmith. I'm actually thinking about getting it just because I think it might be fun. And it would be cool because I get my little boy to start playing and my daughter and that sort of thing. So there you go. Most favorite SRV song would have to be oh crap, I forgot the name of it. Well, since I forgot the name of it, I'm going to say Life by the Drop. I love that one. I'm an intermediate. What should I do? Play the shit out of your guitar, Caden. That's what you should do. Join the Unstoppable Guitar System and go straight to the intermediate portion. But remember, beginner, intermediate, and advanced is all different to everybody. So you may be advanced. You may be beginner. It just depends. It's all opinion. Mine isn't right either. So what do you check before buying an electric guitar? How does it feel? How does it sound? Video 1 of the free series, YourGuitarSage.com/30. Watch video 1 and 2. Okay, I go over specifically what you need to know when you're buying a guitar. So important. Are such live lessons weekly? What's the frequency of your online lessons? Go to YourGuitarSage.com/live to get on the list of when I'm doing this. Hey, Sage, what up? What up, Urbass? So it's sporadic. Sometimes I just all over the place, Okay, have you ever taken milk of magnesia before a show? Absolutely not. Lenny. Yes, Lenny. Lenny was his guitar. Did he have a song called Lenny? If he did, I don't know about it. Hello from California. What's up, Caleb? Leaving Warren, I just want to feel loved. Me too, my friend. Love is a good feeling. Let's all show Leaving Warren some love. I love you, my friend. We are all of the same. As soon as we learn that, we're gonna have peace on this earth. Are there some a-holes? Yup. We're still all come from the same place. All right. Do you think beginners should try flamenco? Well, flamenco players who are starting beginner guitar start playing flamenco. So yes, but start with the beginning flamenco lessons, Don't start with anything that's difficult. But flamenco is hardcore, man. It is so good and so beautiful, and I love flamenco. I was in Puerto Rico a few years ago, and there was this beast of a flamenco player. By the way, Ben Woods, check that guy out. He plays a lot of heavy metal on flamenco style, and it's amazing. Ben Woods, so good. One of the very few channels that I subscribe to. What are some of the classics that I should learn? Oh my goodness, so many classics. Jeez. He Stopped Loving Her Today, Folsom Prison Blues, Crazy Train, Bark at the Moon. The genre. It depends on what genre you're talking about. Let me know the genre and I'll tell you. You make your own? Do you make your own clean settings, tuning yourself? I'm not sure what you mean by that, Bert. I'm not sure what you mean by that. Should I learn music theory? I bought a couple of Hal Leonard books, but I'm having a hard time putting it all together. Yes, Brett, you should learn music theory, but do it as you're learning. I always teach it as I'm learning. So I'm teaching somebody a song, and then I'll say, okay, you notice how it does that? That's because it's the minor scale, da-da-da-da-da. And then you don't forget it. If you're just learning it from a rote method, it's not so fun. You could still do it, and I'd still advise learning it if that's your only way, but learn it. That's how I teach it in all my programs. I teach it slow and steady and related to other stuff. So that's how you'll want to learn it. So, personal preference, Gibson or Fender. It's just different. You know what I mean? That's like saying Porsche or Cadillac. Depends what I'm doing. Rock and roll. I love my Gibsons, and for blues and others, country and that sort of thing, I love Fender. Where can we find easy songs to play? YourGuitarSage, youtube.com/YourGuitarSage. Almost all the songs I teach are easy. War Pigs, love it. What exercise could you give to bar chords? Watch the video effing F chord, EFFING, F chord on YouTube or in the free series. Learn that. That's the exercise. That's how to understand how to break the code of bar chords, and then just play bar chords, but you got to break the code first, and I do it in that video. I played acoustic for 4 years now, and I'm planning to start electric. What's the first thing to learn? Watch my video on that. I've got one on YouTube. If it's not out already, it'll be out soon, but it's like going from acoustic to an electric. But basically, hold the guitar in your hands, plug it in, get just used to the feel of it, basically, because it's a lot like driving a Porsche as opposed to a sedan. It's squirrely. It gets away from you. You barely touch the strings, and you got this happening. That sort of thing. You're not going to get that on the acoustic. So it's a little squirrely at first, but you need to learn how to tame the beast. How long did it take How long did it take to you to get proficient as a player? How long did you practice per day? It's not like one day it clicks, friends. It goes in progression. You get better. It's like going out. It's like working out at the gym. Okay. But I've seen players within a year who are really dedicated and really passionate become amazing players. In a year, it's possible. Best way to transpose piano to guitar. I know the major chords and scales, but I've been having trouble transitioning them over to the guitar. Depends. Learn how to read chord charts. I teach this in my program. That's probably the easiest way, you know. Do you ever teach Nashville number system, Ashley? I do. I teach it very extensively in the Unstoppable Guitar System. Those lessons may be in the Complete Guitar System as well. I think they are, but they're most assuredly in the Unstoppable Guitar System. I probably have 1 or 2 videos here on YouTube. Just type in YourGuitarSage Nashville number. But yes, Ashley, good for you. She's a country girl. She's wanting to learn some country. Nashville number system, and she asked about Brad Paisley. So yes, learn the Nashville number system. Everybody. You don't have to know, you don't have to be like country music to do this. Learn the number system. Will change your life. I don't polish my guitars, really, for the most part. I use water. Do you have somebody to tune up, or do you do it yourself? No, I tune up my own guitars, but I don't, I string them up too, but I don't intonate them. I don't do that anymore. I don't like to do that. If trying to come up with a melody or intro for a song you're writing, is it important to use the scale of which key the song is in your writing? Yes, most assuredly. You got to be in the key. Later on, when you mature more as a player, you can change that a little bit, but really for the most part, you got to stay in the key. Yeah. Can you tell us some tips about minor melodic scale, the minor melodic scale, and chords? Melodic. It's called the melodic minor, and no, it's just not used very often. And really, it's a scale that changes when you play it up as opposed to playing it down. In fact, I think it has a raised 6 and 7 when you're playing it up and a normal 6 and 7 when you're playing it down, or vice versa. Nonetheless, I obviously never use it, and it's very rarely used, and do not confuse yourself with it unless you are like some high-end jazz player, which you wouldn't be if you were asking that question. So I'm sorry, only because I'm just telling you, I was hoping to give you a great answer that's going to blow your mind. But the melodic minor is just that. It's just a scale that changes when you're going up or down, and the chords would change accordingly as well. But it's not going to change your life. Don't waste your time with it. Okay, drink some water. I knew I should. Right? Thank you for the reminder. What guitar do you wish you had? What guitar song do I wish I had written? A bazillion of them. Anything by old stuff by Yngwie Malmsteen. That sort of thing. Joe Satriani, the first album, or Surfing with the Alien. That's anything on that. It's amazing. How do you remove static from your hand, from the strings when not using it? What's the reasoning for it? There's no reason. There is a reason. It's lights. It's things not being grounded correctly and that sort of thing. So, it has to do with single coil pickups a lot of times. Single coils are going to be louder than humbucker, and it's extraneous noise from lights and audio and computers and stuff like that. All the stuff that people say is bullshit, that we're not getting sound wave, or that we're not getting electronic waves in our head with our cell phone and stuff like that. That stuff that they say is bullcrap. Yeah, it's not bullcrap. Your guitar hears it, okay? You just don't hear it. It's not good for us. It's radiation. Radiation, from my understanding, has never been very good. Unless, of course, you're going for chemo. And then that's still not good for the good cells. It's not good for the bad cells either. It kills them, but can. Anyhow, beginning here, learning open chords and can transition between chords. Well, interested in adding in lead-ins and stuff like that. Any suggestions? Yeah, do it. Those are real broad questions. I wish I could answer that better, but you've got to just start. And how to start, watch my videos. I got a ton of them. But there's not like something I could tell you that you'd be like, oh, cool, never thought of that. You got to get into some videos. Should I buy a recording device so I can hear my playing? Most assuredly. Use your phone. Record yourself playing all the time. It's a great way to understand what you really sound like. Is it true that when you don't play guitar for a while, it starts to sound crappy? The guitar won't, but you will. If you don't play guitar for a while, you'll start sounding crappy. So that's the truth. Not the guitar. Guitar will sound fine. How do you increase speed when picking? Repetition, 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 and accuracy. Accuracy leads to speed. Speed never comes before accuracy. If you're playing something sloppy slow, trying to speed it up is going to make you just worse. Accuracy, accuracy, accuracy. What's your favorite amp? What do you think about Black Star? This is a Black Star, this guy down here. I love Black Star. They're amazing sounding amps. Right now, my go-to is this Fender Blues Junior, though, with all my pedals and stuff like that. I just love the way it sounds, you know? Yeah, somebody's saying reground the guitar. There's some things that one can do with wiring. It could be that the wiring is a little shifty or something on your guitar, but you know, that helps to some degree if it's out of ground, but there's other reasons too. Amplifier can be out of ground, your pedals can, a bunch of other stuff, you know. How far can you go with a cheap guitar? How much is it to do with the guitar and the guitarist? I answered this question for somebody today. It has everything to do with the guitar, or I should say it depends, but it has 95% to do with the guitar player. I didn't drink the water, Jesus, right? It has everything to do with the guitar player. Eddie Van Halen used to say, hand me your guitar and I'll make it sound like me, okay? It really has everything to do with that, okay? Nice, new guitars are nice. I keep getting messages here. Sorry, on my little iWatch. Yeah, a nice guitar is helpful, and it definitely encourages you more. But with that being said, it has to do with practice. Everything to do with practice. I'm considering upgrading from my Stratocaster to an Epiphone Les Paul. Would it be a noticeable improvement? What do you suggest? No, it won't be a noticeable improvement. Don't do it. It's not. I mean, you could do it, but it's not gonna do what you think it's gonna do. I doubt very seriously. It's gonna be a little bit different. May encourage you a little bit, but it's typically it's about practice. Ever use a PV amp, Eric? Yes. Used to use PV amps all during the 80s. I loved them. And there's some great amps. The Butcher, that was the, oddly enough, I'm a vegan now, and the name of my amp was The Butcher. The Butcher of Carrots. Great sounding amp. It was basically a Marshall with a PD name. Thanks for taking the time and answer all these questions. Happy B-Day advanced. Man, thank you. Real MVP. Thank you, buddy. I'm borrowing my friend's Taylor. Do I need a dehumidifier for it? Depends, Ashley. Your range should probably be somewhere between 45 and 65 should be the range. 45 is a little low, actually. Maybe 55 to 65. But with that being said, if it drops for a day or two or goes up for a day or two, that's fine. If it's that way for a long amount of time, you'll notice there are things that you can see about the guitar, like if it's, you know, wood, and you can see the wood. Sometimes you'll see it start dimpling, like where the guitar is shrinking a little bit. Bridges can come off, that sort of thing. So just make sure it's in that good range, okay? Have you ever played Caribbean music or reggae? Yeah, all the time. I love it. Do you suggest easy beginner acoustic songs, Sweet Home Alabama? Yeah, follow my channel, youtube.com/YourGuitarSage. Tons of easy programs there, or songs there, including Sweet Home Alabama. What's one thing we should always be practicing? Songs. Always be practicing songs. Songs. Music theory and stuff like that's great. I teach it. It's necessary. It's a necessary evil. But no one cares about it if you step on stage. Would you care if you found out tomorrow that Jimi Hendrix knew no music theory? Or you gonna be like, oh, I don't listen to his stuff anymore. He doesn't even know music theory. But this guy over here knows a ton of music theory. I see this all the time on YouTube, these guys that know so much music theory, and they'll sit there and argue like it's a freaking math class, and then you go to their channel and they play like crap, and they play sterile. I went to school with a bunch of guys like this. Dude, play from the heart. Music theory is great, but practice your songs and try to sound like your favorites. Okay? You're still going to be you, but try to sound like them as much as possible. And then when you go to play your own stuff, you can come up with your own sound, but doing that is very, very important to see if you can do it. You know, what kind of picks do I use? I use a lot of different kinds. One of my favorites right now are Dragon's Heart picks. I love these, both a thick and thin version of it, but they're kind of very oddly shaped. Can you see that? And I can do different things with all the different bits and pieces. Okay? Why the emphasis on songs? Because no one steps up on stage and plays scales. And no one cares about you knowing music theory. I do, but I'm your teacher. People want to hear songs and they want to hear you kick the ass out of the song. Learn songs. Learn songs. Learn songs, learn songs, learn songs, learn songs, and be good at it. Here's the deal, too. Think about it. Take Jimmy Page, for example, or any guitar player that you learn in their songs. You're learning all of their influences, all the nuances. You're learning bends, and you're learning double stops, and you're learning chords, and you're learning solos, and you're learning all this stuff. You're getting massive amounts of information when you learn a song. When you learn a scale, you're learning a scale. Got to learn a scale, but you know what I'm saying? Like, it's all about songs. Everything's about songs. Did you ever try to play any song from Green Day? Oh, yeah, bazillion Green Day songs. I teach them on YouTube. I love Green Day. Eric, try this. Hold all four fingers down on the frets. Can you lift the ring finger easily? Is there a way to overcome it? If it is a hard time, it's not that big of a deal. Okay, so Mike is saying, yeah, holding all four fingers down and then lifting your ring finger. Yeah, I can do that relatively easily, but that's also because I've been playing guitar for a while. So these are exercises, though, that I say when you're away from your guitar, do practice that. I had a buddy who had a stroke, and I've heard other stories like this as well, but he'd sit there and he'd look at his toe and he'd say, you're going to move, 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 you freaking toe, until his toe finally moved. Power of the mind is very strong. So if you do this and you're like, I can't move my finger, then you think about it, and you think about it, and you think about it, and you think about it. I mean, whose freaking finger is that? It's mine. It's not yours. So I'll make that finger move. It doesn't have a mind of its own. It may be difficult, but you've got to make that connection. It's a neural connection, and you can do it, and that's a great thing to do when you have the guitar away from you. How to get over the fear of playing on stage or in front of others. I might have done a YouTube video for this, but I just did at least one song, or at least one video, but I know it was actually several videos, I'm pretty sure. No, it was one very long video in the Unstoppable Guitar System to get over the fear of it. But for me, having a beer before getting up on stage is helpful. If you're not of age, then don't do that, of course. And then also going through your mind constantly that it's okay if you mess up. And when you do mess up, because you will, keep going. That's what you remember. And you do that enough, you start getting up on stage or doing a live video like this in front of a few hundred people or sometimes 1,000 people. And you go, well, what's the worst I'm going to do? Mess up? Fall off my chair? The video's going to go down? Yeah, all that stuff's happened, so big deal. You guys are still here, right? So don't worry about messing up. I think that's number one, is don't worry about messing up. People want to see you do well. They're not there to watch you fail and crash and burn. If so, you're in the wrong audience. Got the wrong audience, Why do rhythm guitar players like Caleb from Kings of Leon prefer playing bar chords versus normal chord structures? Is this because of easier sound, better, or they're lazy? You'd have to ask them. You would have to ask them. It just depends. Sometimes it's ease, that sort of thing. Somebody's asking, where do I get my source of protein from? Tim's asking, do I need B12 supplements? I get it from, protein, the protein myth. There's a lot of people that think you need way more protein than you do. You really only need about 0.8 pounds. Like 0.8 per pound that you have. So if you weigh 100 pounds, you need 80 grams of protein. And I get it from tofu. I get it from edamame. I get it from vegetables. It's actually in fruits some. I get it from grains, quinoa, rice, all sorts of stuff. Green barley, just tons of stuff. And do I take a B12 supplement? I take a mineral or a multivitamin. I do. But I've always taken that, even when I ate meat. So... Brain Stew is a great beginner song. Yep. Yes. Love that from the first album, right? Or almost. How long has he been streaming? We've been going for quite some time now, right? Since 1. Yeah, in fact, I'm probably going to end it here because we've been going a while, right? It's been a longer stream. Strumming patterns. Yes. Video like number 7 or something like that in the free series. Get it, Robbie. YourGuitarSage.com/30. It's free. It is free. What are you guys waiting for? It's free. And there's a PDF with it as well, so go and start there, okay? Do you believe in music school? Yes, I believe in music school. Music schools are great. I went to music school. I was a classical guitar major for 3 years before I changed my major. What is your favorite guitar model? I love Les Pauls. Probably a Strat. I love Strats. I just really, really, really do. Okay. And I know I've missed some. Here, and I hate that because I really want to get to every. Do I always use pedals? When I am. Yes, I almost always am using some sort of pedal. I don't plug straight into the amp. I could. I've got some amps that are really great like that, but I don't, Tom is saying, best resource in rockabilly. The same place where the course that we're discounting right now is Udemy. I think you could probably find some good rockabilly lessons there as well. There's some really great guys. Where did I go? I'm here still. McFrancis is asking. I need to start a school of rock. I know, wouldn't that be great? I'm looking to getting a new acoustic with the budget about $1,500 Canadian. What would you suggest? I imagine that's close to the same that American dollars, but $1,500. I love Taylor. Taylor's a real good, but I love the Epiphone Masterbuilt. You could pocket about $700 and buy something else. Epiphone Masterbuilts are amazing guitars for the money. Fantastic stream. Been with you since 10K. Oh, that's amazing. You're doing a fantastic job. Keep it up. Thank you so much, friend. Wow, since 10,000 followers. That's amazing. Or subscribers. That's crazy. Where were the winners, or is that not announced yet? Yeah, Jesse, it's at the beginning. We announced it at the beginning. It's also in the chat. Way up. Okay. I just got Admiral Virtuous. Is this a good guitar to start with? Probably. Any guitar is a good guitar to start with, better than nothing, right? So yes. When's the next stream? The stream is now, my friend. I don't know when the next stream is. Happy birthday tomorrow. Thank you, Guitar Man. Have one request. Please teach us happy birthday song, Eric. I think I may, actually. I think I may have it, I can't right now. Sorry. We need to hit it here, but I think I teach it actually. I think I may have it out there on YouTube somewhere. Type in YourGuitarSage happy birthday, and see if I do have it there, because I think I do. All right, my friends. I'm having a good time with you. You guys are still here. I'm gonna keep going for a little bit, and then we'll get to. I'm gonna go for a few more minutes yet. Okay, I'm feeling good. Where did you study music? I studied music at a local college, Brevard Community College. It was just a little community college right near my house. I literally walked to school there for a week because it was like 100 degrees, and then I got my first car. But that school was a great school because it prepared you for Florida State. Was it Florida State? Yeah, Florida State has a really good music program and a great classical guitar program, and that's what they were grooming you to get ready for. So it is a very legit school. Oh, thanks for all the birthday wishes, my friends. Hey, if you want to really show me some love, hit that share button, my friends, as a birthday gift to me. It only comes around once a year, so that would be really nice. Would love that. Thank you. Dave is saying, Eric, Mr. Sean had a great question for you about guitar strings. What was that question? What was the question about guitar strings? I changed my acoustic guitar strings to medium gauge now. If I press an F minor bar chord for 15 seconds, it feels like my thumb's going to break. Any advice? Yeah, your hand's weak, Sean, and your technique is poor. So both of those things are going to improve in time. Everybody's strength and technique is poor in the beginning, okay? And so you putting those higher gauge strings on there are going to make it a little bit harder. But when are you holding that F minor chord for 15 seconds? That's a long time. And that's a hard chord to play. So you're actually got pretty strong hands. That's great. If you play it for a few seconds, you're great, right? What do you think of the PRS SE Santana? I don't know anything about it. PRS makes good guitars. But that may, I don't know anything about that, my friend. What? Chuck Norris? Opinion on aged white pickup cover on a white made in Mexico Strat. Opinion on the aged white. Okay, so these aged pickups, like this guy right here, believe it or not, this will blow your mind. Some of you will know this, but this is a 1965 Strat. And these aged pickup, I say aged. This is aged because it was made in 1964 and put on this guitar. But you see how it's kind of got that tinge of green? Well, I guess they're selling these aged white pickup Strats covers now to make it look more like the original. Because if I were to sell this on eBay right now, I'd get about $2,500 for it. Just the plastic pick guard. Isn't that nuts? But if you have a 65 at home and you got the white pick guard and you want the aged one, you gotta buy one, right? That's how it works. Okay, tips for having to learn many songs in a short period of time. Don't sleep and do intermittent fasting. Don't eat a lot. Seriously, not eating will give you time to practice, and when you're not eating, you get massive ketones, and they make your brain sharp, so you can learn stuff really quick. I swear I've done that technique before, where I'm sitting there if I do eat, I'm sitting there learning songs, and I take a bite, and I'm learning. I've had to do this for auditions. I've had to do this when I joined bands. Hey, here's our set list. It's 55 songs long, and you're like, oh my God, okay, here I go. And if you got 2 weeks to do that, you're hitting, I mean, what's that? 14 days. It's like you're learning like 3 songs a day, right? And you have to be really good at them. So it's just like, don't sleep and don't eat. Aryan is saying, share, subscribe, like the channel, guys. He's putting all the effort in for us. I am. Thank you so much for saying that. I really appreciate it. And it does go a long way, when you see people who, when you're doing something nice and you get a crappy attitude from somebody, it's real discouraging. Not so discouraging that I would stop, of course, but trolls. They got mommy issues. What's your go-to song to open a show? Get the crowd growing. Man, it's I'm not playing in a live band right now, but God, it just depends on it really depends on the band, and it depends on the venue and everything else. So important to know that stuff when you're going into someplace, because you may what's good for one venue is not good for another. Suggested price range for a beginner acoustic guitar. I always say if you could spend a little bit more, get an Epiphone Masterbuilt. Used, I've seen them for $300 or $400. And if you're spending $200 on a guitar, go another $100 and get an Epiphone Masterbuilt. They're really nice, okay? Only stop when you pass out. Yes, indeed. Leave the Jack Daniels bottle alone while practicing. Yes, indeed. Just got a 2016 Fender Nashville Telly with 5-position switch, noiseless pickups. Are you a purist? Yes or no? I love it, by the way. Gina, no. I'm just like my political views. I think a lot of people are just absolutely crazy for being so polarizing on one side or the other, that when I hear people like purist, I'm a purist and I only play 1965 Strats. I'm happy I got a 1965 Strat, but I also have another one that's new, because if I'm going to be playing a biker gig and I got a bunch of drunk bikers, nothing wrong with that, right? But if they're bumping Indian stuff, I'm not going to have a 65 Strat. So I'm going to have a less expensive Strat. So, but I have had a Nashville Telly before, and they're awesome. And I don't think it had noiseless pickups. Actually, I had some custom pickups in it. But best beginner amp with 30 plus watts, in your opinion? I've been recommended the Marshall. Any other ideas? Tube or, let me know, tube or solid state. Please, do you know anything about a Fender Automatic? No, I don't know what that means. Rip Greg Ullman. Yes. Where can I get this t-shirt? If you follow my Facebook and Twitter and all that stuff, I do this often on occasion. Can I gent? It's so funny. I had a student who was into that gent. Can I gent? I know, isn't that a joke now? Can you gent? But right, is that genting? I think that's genting. I don't know. What's the difference between Guitar Mastery Simplified and the 3 ebooks? I bought the Mastery Simplified. Could I buy the ebooks too? Yeah, you could. Guitar Mastery Simplified basically sums up a lot that's in the 3 ebooks, with the exception of the blues stuff. Although I include some of that stuff in there. Okay. Obsessed with the guitar. I am now enjoying rock covers. Want to get good at solo. I need to get better at solos and fingerstyle. Any suggestions? Rishi, yes, start YourGuitarSage.com/30. Everybody who's reading this, you better be reading those comments or reading the description. That's where to get that free course. You got to start there. First, watch your guitar intro. I'm glad to see you're still around. Keep up the great great content. Thank you so much. Barbo, hello, I love your voice. Thank you. Do you use your pinky when finger picking? Ari's saying, great question. No, I don't. Very rarely do I, because it's just not needed. One, it's very short, and two, you're usually only playing up to 4 notes at a time. If you're playing 5 or more, you strum. Okay, so no, most classical guitar players don't even either. Flamenco may. I don't know. I doubt it though. Okay. I've got a Fender Automatic Series amp. How and can't find info on it? Question mark. Google. Question mark. That's your answer. Find Google to find your more info on it. Fred Jones, either one. What do you think? Fred Jones, that didn't come across either. Oh, either one. What do you think? Tube amp is better for that tone, and this is a great amp. The Blues Junior, especially if you're pushing it with pedals. If you need an all-in-one amp, this is a great amp. This is a Line 6 Amplify. That's with an I at the end, AMPLFI, I believe it is. Great amp. And it's got all the bells and whistles built into it, so more, really cool. More Freebird. Your opinion on classic vibe Squires? I haven't owned one, so I can't say. Sorry about that. What style of music do you usually play? Rock, folk, country, blues. Hardest song I've ever learned. I tell you what song that is. It's Never Going Back Again by Lindsey Buckingham, and I won't even try to play it right now because I'd have to capo it and change the tuning and everything else. But I play it actually at the beginning of some songs that I have, and it's a difficult bit to play. A lot of polyphonic, a lot of Travis picking going on. Classical guys do that, Eric. Don't forget, Dave is saying. Classical guys do what, Dave? They don't play with their pinky. 9 times out of 10, they don't. F the trolls, brother. Best thing about you, though, in my opinion, is you got a sense of humor. It makes learning more fun. I've learned more from you than anyone, mainly because I want to watch. Thank you so much, Joe. I appreciate that. No, haters and trolls actually empower me. So when I see them, it lets me realize that there are dumb people out there, and that there is the antithesis of that. There are smart people and kind people and loving people. So, hello from Syria, LOL, deployed, need my guitar fix. Oh, nice, Anthony. Yes, you do, my friend. Dave, great example. Pinky Strumming. Do you know Steve Hill? Need to check it out. I do not. Google doesn't work. Google doesn't work. Okay, I don't know what that means. Newbie question, can you play any of the 5-minute minor pentatonic scales anywhere on the fretboard? Yes, you can, Anthony. They change keys. So in the free ebook that's at YourGuitarSage.com, right-hand side of the screen, there's a little sign-up thing that you can see. Download that, and I've got those. I think I got all 5 of them in there. But basically, the pentatonic scale, right? You can keep going. There's 5 different positions, and so that's in the key of A minor or C major, and then if you bump it up, then it goes up to A sharp minor or C sharp major. Okay, that sort of thing. So I talk about that in the most powerful scale video that's on YouTube. Your Guitar Sage most powerful scale. It's about the pentatonic scale. How do you learn to sing while you are playing? I've got videos for that. I've got a video here on YouTube. Just type in Your Guitar Sage playing and singing, but I have a whole series of that in the course. Again, all these questions that you guys are asking, I do cover in lots of detail. They're like mini courses within the big course in the Unstoppable Guitar System that's on sale today. It's $150 off that today, and 66% off of the complete guitar system. Normally it's $145, it's $49 today. Links are in the description of the video if you want it. But how do you do it? You do it slowly, you play the song slowly, you learn to play the song really well separately, you learn to sing the song really well separately, and then start putting them together. But there's obviously more to that, because I have a whole video series on it. How can you know if you're an intermediate guitar player? I It's a matter of opinion. So, like, even me saying it is a matter of opinion, really. I'd say if you're a intermediate guitar player, if you're pretty good at some music theory and you can play some solos and the cage system, you can play chords all around the neck, that sort of thing. I'd say that puts you into intermediate. But that's one man's opinion, okay, and it doesn't mean that much. How do you recommend practicing? Should you focus on one song for a whole hour, or should you go back and forth learning a few different songs? Actually, I find that woodshedding, that focus type of practice is the best, because you really get lots of gains, just like working out. You get lots of gains when you do that. So in the programs, I have different series. So like if you want to be a blues player, or if you want to be this kind of player, or what have you, I have a whole battery of things that one would need to do to become a better player, and using practicing, how to practice as that particular player. You know what I'm saying? Mike, who are the winners? They were announced at the beginning, and they were also posted in the chat area. So I did it right at the beginning of the program this way, so folks could go straight to it right after this. Or maybe during, maybe you can rewind it, I'm not sure. Should I cover other musicians, or should I write original music? You should do both. Covering music is a fantastic way. Think about anything. If you're painting all the greats, what you're doing is you're taking all that information into your brain, so then when it's time for you to paint your own picture, you've got all of those ideas and stuff that you can draw from, okay? A lot of people think, well, that's bad, that's stealing. No, it's not. Art has been that way since the beginning of time. Anybody who thinks that is not paying attention to art. Everybody steals from everybody in art. It's been going on since the beginning of time. If you want to write completely creative music with absolutely no influence, then as a baby, don't ever watch TV, don't ever listen to the radio, don't ever do anything where you might hear another song. Because every single time you hear music, you're taking notes. Believe it or not, that major scale, those chords are being ingrained into your brain, okay? So if you really want to truly write completely original music, don't ever listen to music. If you're more than 1 year old and you've heard music already, it's too late. You've been influenced, okay? With that being said, there's tons of great original music that's out there, and even though it's borrowing from other stuff, it still sounds completely original, okay? There is nothing's ever been original, and everything's original. It's a matter of opinion. Frank is saying, your video is very helpful to noobs. Thank you so much. What should you practice when you're tired of practicing scales? Songs. And follow the program. Follow the programs that I've created. Go through those step by step. Okay? When I hear about people like not having a program to learn guitar, that's like going to the gym and being like, I'll lift that weight a little bit. I'll push this a little bit. I'll do this. That's what it's like doing. You're not going to get very far. You can go, you can do things. Now, if you went to the gym and you were really serious about picking up every weight and just seeing what you could do with it, well, then that's another story. But most people don't do that. They want to be led, and that's why you need a good course, okay? What's on sale again? Both the courses. Unstoppable Guitar System, Complete Guitar System, both on sale. Complete Guitar System. The links for this are in the description, so just click on that. The link, it's one link, it'll take you to the page and you'll see it. 66% off the Complete Guitar System. $49 instead of $145 today. And instead of $400 for the Unstoppable Guitar System, it's $250. So $150 off of that. How about that? Good stuff. Favorite rock song? Greetings from Switzerland. Oh, Switzerland, I want to go. You won't let me in. What's my favorite rock song? Probably Crazy Train, I'd say. Oh, we're all winners if you're listening to Eric, Guitar Man. I love it. That's a great attitude. It was fun watching you again, Master. Gotta go. Pick throwing. Oh, there you are. Was fun. Let's see. Eric, you're doing a great job. Salute. Thanks, my friend. Have you ever seen or used Rocksmith? No, I've talked about getting it, though. It might be fun just to goof off with it, you know. Is the 15-watt version of the amplifier, is that going to be enough? Yeah, it's okay as long as you're not playing with a drummer. It's not going to be loud enough for a drummer. I've been told tubes sound louder, much louder. I had a 1-watt tube amp and put it up against a 100-watt solid state amp, and the 1-watt tube amp was just as loud. I couldn't really hear a difference between the two, but that kind of goes to show you. It's not 100 times louder, but tubes are loud. Tubes are louder. What do you recommend for playing or improvising when choosing a guitar at the store? What do I recommend to play? I mean, play what you play, what you're good at. You know, it doesn't matter what you play as long as it gets to test the guitar like you want it to. You know. Rod is saying Rocksmith is fun, but he finds that some of the notes don't register in drop D. Well, that would make me mad. Is it safe to play using an ungrounded amp? Just don't step in a puddle. See Angus Young for that one. What should I do to get your lifetime membership for free? What could you do to get it for free? Well, you could win it, or today, if you give me $250, then I'll give it to you for free. It's 150 off today, but yeah, you can win it. We do these. I mean, we give stuff away all the time, so just stick close. I already have the Udemy course. Can I get a discount for the Ultimate System? Patty's asking. Email support@YourGuitarSage.com and tell them that you have the Udemy course. You'll need your receipt, and I think we can do that for you. It's like a one-off thing that we sometimes do, you know. Does your Mastery of the Blues have a practice routine I can do every day with little time? I mean, yeah. I mean, for sure. I go over how to practice as a player, but you just have. I mean, obviously, if you only have a little time, you can only pick one or two of the 10 things that I'm telling you to practice. Otherwise, you're going to be practicing everything for like 30 seconds, and that's not going to really help so much, you know. Do you think you can make a living being a musician in a band? What are some ways to get into the music community? 100% you can. All my friends are musicians. All my friends play in bands. All my friends are and they make good money. How do you do it? By being a badass MFer on the guitar. That's how you do it. Be the baddest ass guitar player in your town, and then move to a bigger town and be the baddest ass guitar player there, and you're going to start getting attention. In Nashville here, there's so many great players that when you come here, you get lost in the hoopla. So you better find a band to work with and do your best, okay? That's how to do it. Music communities are better to be in, obviously, than podunk town somewhere like I grew up in. Love it, but it's like, wasn't going to make it in music there. I mean, I could play in a local band and stuff, but probably not make a ton of money. Make sense? Rocksmith is a good learning tool. Happy birthday, Eric, for tomorrow. Thanks so much, my friend. I love my PV Viper. That's a great amp, I've heard. Yep, I've heard. Eric, you're the best. Truly love teaching, and it really shows. Thank you so much for all you've done. You've helped my daughter on her journey learning guitar. Can't say enough. Thank you so much. Fred Jones, thank you. Really reached out to the community. It means a lot. Haven't been subscribing very long. I've already learned a lot. Thank you so much. Thank you, my friend. Greetings, Ahmed from Saudi Arabia. Sweet. Sticking close. Please do. What's better, the Udemy course or the Ultimate Guitar System? It's the Unstoppable Guitar System. And definitely the Unstoppable Guitar System is the better version. Now, many of those videos are on the Complete Guitar System, but understand that the Unstoppable Guitar System is something that I built from the ground up. It gets the most attention, both daily emails. I'm uploading videos to it constantly. It's the top notch one. Okay. Get the PC Mac version. Okay, thanks for that. I would be getting the Mac version of the Rocksmith for sure. And its Unstoppable Guitar System is the best. Yes, Ariane, you're correct. Hey, just tuned in, afternoon learning like usual. Great. All right, dude, I'm caught up with the comments. Although I know I've missed a bunch. Right? We still have 133 folks here. That's great. That's fantastic. All right, let's cover a couple things really quickly. For those that haven't already, please hit share. It helps me help you. The more it gets shared, see, this is how it works. With guys like this that are teaching online or doing anything online, obviously this is our storefront. We don't have a brick and mortar place. So we've got folks like you coming in. Sometimes people buy stuff. Most of the time they don't. Maybe 1 out of 1,000 people will actually buy something. And that's okay because I love teaching anyway. But when you share it, it allows us to, with sponsors, it allows us to be able to give away more stuff, all that, okay? So doing so really helps me out, so please, it takes you 2 seconds to hit the share button right underneath the video there, underneath my icon. 2 seconds, please do it and share it with somebody. Are the winners announced on Instagram? I don't know. They're at the beginning of this video. I don't know if we're doing that or not. Obviously, some of that stuff I've got to have my boys do, because if not, I wouldn't be able to teach anything, because it's a lot of bells and whistles. So just watch the beginning of this video, because I do put them up on the screen. And they are announced in the chat as well. Have you watched Nashville? I have watched Nashville. In fact, the big building that they're in all the time is actually, when you, if you ever notice that that my return address is the icon in downtown. That's where they film Nashville all the time. So if you ever see my return address on anything, it's like 600. What is it? 600. Anyhow, it's on emails and stuff like that. But that's my return address. And yes, I watch Nashville I've watched it a bunch. Are the winners announced on Instagram? No. Any good songs to practice bar chords with? Take any song and convert those chords to bar chords. So any song can be a great song to practice bar chords with, for sure. Sultans of Swing is a great one. Lots of bar chords in that one. The best incident that occurred because of music. I'm not sure what that means, but if you could explain it more, I bet y'all like that question. Happy birthday. Thanks, my friend. Ariane, if you don't pick up the guitar after watching this live feed, then you don't have a pulse. No doubt Eric loves guitar and the people that are willing to learn. Oh, thank you, Steven. Much love to you guys, man. That means a lot. Thank you. Thank you so much for the advice. I love the way you teach. Your videos are great. Thank you, Ashley. Tom, I've been playing for 60 years. Can't ever stop learning so many different processes. Tom, I'm with you. I've been playing for 30-something years. I feel like I just barely scratched the surface of what this thing can do. And it's both beautiful and frustrating, too, because you think you'd be further along after 30-something years, but there's just so much to learn. It's just so fun. Happy early birthday. Thank you, Ashley. I'm an intermediate player now, and I have a problem playing the bar chords, though I don't had that before to play the bar chords. So what should I do to make my bar chords play like before I used to? I bet you something's different. Either your hand got lost strength over time, or you're playing a different guitar, different strings like earlier. Watch here on YouTube, effing F chord, E-F-F-I-N-G, F chord. Watch that. Go through that slowly. It is the code to break bar chords, okay? And then watch my bar chord series. I've got 2 videos on this, part 1 and part 2. I've got a Fu Manchu, and I teach you how to basically learn several hundred chords by just learning one form, which is the F chord. What do you mean by don't trust the man? Heard that in one of your videos. I just released a video on this, actually, and it's called signing off. It's what I say in my sign off at the end of my videos, and it's called signing off, end of my videos. At the end of my videos, I have this sign off that I always say, right? And one of it's don't trust the man. And it's the idea of, well, I mean, if anybody's been watching the news for the last 50 years or so, you know, I love it when people are like, oh, the news is lying. It's like, the news has always lied. This is not a new thing. The news has always lied. And the news is the man. The government's the man. Obviously, there's good things about the government. There can be. There's good things about the news. And there's good thing about the church and those sorts of things. But a lot of times, it's deceptive. And it's made to bring masses together to deceive. Obviously, there's good hearts in all of that stuff, okay? But as a whole, the man is someone who's trying to keep you down. Can be a boss. Your boss can be anti the man. Okay, it could be your guitar teacher. It could be your pastor. It could be anybody. But it's someone who's trying to control you. Okay, keep you from playing the guitar. We don't like that. Where did I miss this? Okay. Oh, I didn't know. Happy birthday. Yeah, thanks, James. I've heard that we shouldn't stand up on cement floors when we use ungrounded amps. Is that true? I've heard that too, Aaron, that cement is a conductor. I've heard that. I don't know if that's true or not, but thanks a lot for this live feed. Keep up your great work. Thank you so much, Ari. I appreciate that. Bed in Finland. Nice. What's the surprise you got because of music, like meeting new people or anything like that? Ah, gotcha. Okay. So, for me, music, through high school, it's like I didn't date through high school. I didn't go out with friends very much. I could have. I had great friends. I had plenty of beautiful girls in my school and stuff, but I ended up really just pouring myself into my music. All my friends were getting into trouble, drinking and screwing around and getting pregnant and everything else. And I was just like, I am much too young to do any of that. And I loved playing guitar. So I think one of the best things for me is it's become a meditation for me. When I really sink my teeth into a song and really just pour myself into it, it's very cathartic. So that to me is probably the biggest thing, is that peace that I feel from it. Does that make sense? All right, my friends, I'm gonna end it here. Do I believe strumming is just as important as chord knowledge and transition? By all means. Guys, before we go, that's the last question. We've been going for 2 hours and 10 minutes now. That's great. Fantastic. For those folks that are wanting to get serious about the guitar, listen to me, okay? You can poke around on YouTube and you can learn a whole lot. I'm not dissing YouTube, obviously. I'm on YouTube here, right? There's a massive amount of information on YouTube. The problem with it sometimes is you bounce around and there's ads, and sometimes you get what you're looking for and sometimes you do not. And you're definitely not getting things in order, right? So something may be way over your head when you should be learning something else. That's why I've created the guitar systems that I have. Everything, my books, to the complete guitar system, to the unstoppable guitar system, they're all based off of step by step by step by step. You can't mess up. The only way for you to mess up is to quit. And I've taken the frustration part out of this, okay? Because most people quit because they're frustrated. They don't realize they're frustrated. What happens is they say, I'm not good at this. Oh, I got fat fingers. I got short fingers. I don't have talent. These are the things that when you're getting frustrated, one tells themselves. Sound familiar? Yeah, you know why? Because I've told myself all this, and so did Jimi Hendrix and all these other people. The difference between us is that we kept going, and we kept going. We said, screw this, I'm going to make this work. And that's the attitude you got to have, and you got to have the resources to do so. You got to have the resources to step by step do this stuff. That's why I've created my courses. If you're serious about it, take advantage. Hit that link that's in Memorial Day, YourGuitarSage.com/Memorial Day, maybe -2017 or something like that. Click on that. We're doing this giveaway we're doing these massive discounts for a short amount of time. $150 off of the $400 course, so it's $250 today, and 66% off of the complete guitar system, which is $140, normally $149, $145. Today it's $49. My friends, if you want to get serious, do it. Otherwise, I will be here doing lots of free videos for you. You know I will. I got tons of free stuff for you. YourGuitarSage.com/30. If you're new to guitar or you'd like to feel out what my lessons feel like, join that free system. YourGuitarSage.com/30. The link for that is below. Join that, okay? Go through those 30 videos. If you're like, this is so easy, I can't even believe it, then you need to be in one of my other systems. But I bet you any money, because I have folks that get in there all the time, they've been playing for longer than I have, and they say, how come my teacher never showed me this stuff? This opened it all up for me, okay? So if you're serious about it, you know where to go. I understand there's people in different countries and stuff, the exchange and everything, they don't have the money. Stick around. I'm giving stuff away all the time, and obviously the few thousand videos that I have here on YouTube. Not only this channel, but YGS Guitar Lessons. Did you know I had another channel? Yeah. McShit just joined too late. Number one, I love the name, McShit. And number two, McShit. You can watch this again when it's all done. All right, my friends? Man, thank you so much for making my job the coolest job ever. I love you guys. Thank you for all the sweet sentiments about that birthday and all that stuff. Please let me know I can help if you're in any of my systems. Obviously, when you get stuck on a video,